How does it work? How does it work? You can figure out just how it works. Mysteries can be fun. Lots of fun for everyone. Lots of fun, lots of fun. Slow down, and you will find you can do it if you use your mind.
Why I now believe that Yeshua is Messiah. First I want to say that I was a Seventh-day Adventist, and then I become Messianic. In the days when I was Messianic, I find out that something wasn't right with genealogy of Yahoshua the Messiah, Jesus. I was aware that genealogy of Luke is not accurate, because Numbers 1:18, Ezra 2:59, Genesis 49:10, and Isaiah 11:1, the Messiah must be descended on his father's side from King David. And what I only have was Matthew's genealogy. You can say, but what is wrong with Matthew's genealogy? Let me explain. Genealogy of Matthew 1:1-16, the scroll of the genealogy of Yeshua the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Yitzchak, Yitzchak was the father of Jacob, Jacob was the father of Yehudah and his brothers. Yehudah was the father of Peretz and Zerach, their mother was Tamar. Peretz was the father of Hezron, Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab, Amminadab was the father of Nachshon, Nachshon was the father of Salmon, Salmon was the father of Boaz, his mother was Rachab. Boaz was the father of Obed, his mother was Ruth. Obed was the father of Yeshai, Yeshai was the father of David the king. David was the father of Shlomo, his mother was the wife of Uriah. Shlomo was the father of Rechavam, Rechavam was the father of Aviah. Aviah was the father of Asa. Asa was the father of Yehoshaphat, Yehoshaphat was the father of Joram, Joram was the father of Uzziah. Uzziah was the father of Yotam, Yotam was the father of Achaz, Achaz was the father of Hizkiah. Hizkiah was the father of Manasseh, Manasseh was the father of Ammon, Ammon was the father of Yashayahu. Yashayahu was the father of Yechoniah and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babel. After the Babylonian exile, Yechoniah was the father of Shealtiel, Shealtiel was the father of Zerubbabel, Zerubbabel was the father of Abihud, Abihud was the father of Eliakim, Eliakim was the father of Azor, Azor was the father of Zadok, Zadok was the father of Yachin, Yachin was the father of Elichid. Elichid was the father of Eleazar, Eleazar was the father of Mattan, Mattan was the father of Yaakov, and Jacob fathered Joseph, the husband of Miriam, by whom was born Yeshua, who is called Messiah. So, there were 14 generations from Abraham to David, 14 generations from David to the Babylonian exile, and 14 generations from the Babylonian exile to the Messiah. So, what is the problem? Problem was that Yahoshua is Messiah from David through Solomon and Jeconiah. Jeconiah fell under the curse. He should be childless, none of his offspring will succeed, none will sit on David's throne, or rule again. Jeremiah 22:30, 36:30. And you can now ask yourself, how then I believe that Yahoshua is the Messiah? I will now explain. In light of this curse there appears to be a great obstacle regarding the Messianic line, and especially Jeconiah's inclusion within it. There is widespread opinion that the denunciation of Jeconiah through God's prophet was irrevocable. This would effectively preclude him from being within the Messianic lineage. Before jumping hastily to this opinion, it is well for us to examine some arguments against this view. The first curse, that Jeconiah would remain childless, was definitely lifted. The Tanakh, Old Testament, makes it clear that Jeconiah was, in fact, prolific. He actually had children: Shealtiel, Malchiram, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechemaliah, Hoshana, Nedabidah, and Asir. 1 Chronicle 3:17-18. Jeconiah was king of Judah when the children of Israel were taken captive into Babylon, and was imprisoned there. The second curse, that Jeconiah would be a man that shall not prosper in his days, was also improved by God, for we read, "And it came to pass, in the year of captivity, the king of Babylon did liberate Jeconiah from prison, and he set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon." 2 Kings 25:27-28. He surely was not cursed by God anymore when we see that the king of Babylon liberate Jeconiah from prison. So, as we see, God forgave Jeconiah, and we can also find the same thing in the Jewish encyclopedia, where we read this: Jeconiah's sad experiences changed his nature entirely, and, as he repented of the sins which he had committed as king, he was pardoned by God, who revoked the decree to the effect that none of his descendants should ever become king. He even became the ancestor of the Messiah. It was especially his firmness in fulfilling the law that restored him to God's favor. He was kept by Nebuchadnezzar in solitary confinement, and, as he was therefore separated from his wife, the Sanhedrin, which had been expelled with him to Babylon, feared that at the death of this queen the house of David would become extinct. So God forgave him his sins, and third curse was also improved by God. His wife got pregnant, as it is written, Shealtiel his son, Asir his son. Shealtiel means, I asked of God. Asir means prisoner. Hence, the rabbis understand that Jeconiah asked God to forgive him while in prison, and that God indicated his forgiveness by giving him sons that they may prosper, and from them, one day, could come the one who would be king. The returning exiles from Babylon in 539 BCE appointed Zerubbabel to be their prince. They obviously did not think that the curse was still in effect, since Zerubbabel was a direct descendant of Jeconiah. Moreover, the post-exilic prophets exalt Zerubbabel and place their hopes for Israel in him. Hence, for example, the prophet Zechariah exclaims, Who are you, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel you shall become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone of it with shoutings. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall also finish it, for they shall rejoice, and see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel. Zechariah 4:7, 9-10. Book of Jeremiah said that his dead body will be thrown out, to lie in the heat by day, and in the frost by night. But we read, So Jeconiah put aside his prison clothes, and for the rest of his life ate regularly at the king's table. Day by day, the king gave Jeconiah a regular allowance, as long as he lived. 2 Kings 25:29-30. It is fair, then, to assume that whatever the denunciation against Jeconiah, it was pardoned by God, even as the king of Babylon pardoned Jeconiah and released him from prison. So, the Messiah would not be prevented genealogically from being of the seed of David, Solomon, and Hezekiah through Jeconiah, to whom the Messianic promises were given. So, you now know why I believe that Yahoshua is the Messiah through David, through Solomon, through Jeconiah, through Joseph. Blessed be the Lord thy God, and his appointed King of Israel, Yahoshua HaMashiach. Shalom.